Hey friends, it's a new day. Today is actually a doctor day. So if you've been following along, I'm having all sorts of craziness going on and I'm seeing my doctor today. I actually don't have a problem going to the doctor. They're usually enjoyable, but for some reason when I actually have like problems that I have to talk about, it's hard for some reason because I think they're gonna think I'm crazy, or maybe it's just nothing, it's all in my head. So I wrote everything down and I feel like I've even rehearsed it several times. I feel like I am on the brink of tears the last few days. And it's so weird because I don't usually have this problem, but I'm just not sure. I don't know. I have a really amazing doctor. I love her. But I'm afraid she's going to be like, well, there's just nothing we can do. I don't know why I have that fear because she's always been so awesome in the past. But when you've been struggling for so long, you just don't want to struggle anymore and feel like you want it to get better. And it's kind of like, have you seen that commercial? I think it's for car insurance, and the guy's got a carrot, or maybe no, it's a fishing line with some money on the end of it, and he's going, "You gotta be a little faster than that."
Oh, you almost had it. You gotta be quicker than that.
It's like it's right there. You can see. Okay, you think just maybe you're gonna find the answer, and you're just not sure. And I'm just not sure. And I've only cried in the doctor's office once that I can ever remember. And I'm afraid I'm going to make it day number 2 today, which is always humiliating, but it's humiliating now. And I don't know. I'm tired of feeling terrible. And I just want answers. So, hopefully today is the day. In other news, in case I have time to wait, which I probably will, the space between us, Thridi Umrigar, I think is how you say the name. That's the book I'm reading right now. Kind of is a sad one too, but when you read about the realities of other people, like in different life circumstances, like when I read the book The Help, I was just like, I can't believe people have been treated this way. I mean, you learn about it, you hear about it, but then when you read a book, those characters like come alive to you and you're just like, how? I'm so sorry. And then this book as well, this is set in India, and just some of the ways that these people have to live and their thinking is... Anyway, I'm a mess. And, sometimes you just have to be a mess so that you can get unmessy, right? I have to accept the mess and go in and get hopefully unmessed, or maybe double messed. I'm sweating a little bit. Got the air on good. We're gonna be okay, guys. We're gonna be okay. Don't you worry. Don't you worry. Let's get this done. We can do this, okay? We can do this. Here we go. Okay, guys. I really had nothing to worry about. The reason I loved my doctor is still the reason I love my doctor. She's just amazing. She wants to figure things out and help you as much as she can. And if she doesn't know, she's really great about like sending you on to somebody else that could be helpful. And she's good to admit when she doesn't know. She's just great. I just really needed today so much. So let's talk about what happened, if I can remember, because it was a lot. It is an hour, pretty much it took, of her talking with me and just thinking through things, and I just love her so much. So I just went and had a blood test done for celiac disease. for those that don't know, I don't think I've really talked about, back in the day, not back in the day, 2017, I got gastroenteritis. We went out to eat somewhere, and I was walking around Target that night, and I started having the most intense cramping ever. And it was above my belly button, right under my ribs, that whole area, like it became this big bulge, and it was really hard and painful and just cramping. And then it continued on through the weekend. That was a Friday night. And by Sunday, the pain was just out of control. And I have a really high pain tolerance. And no, something wasn't right. And all of a sudden, I kind of had this thought. My mom had stomach cancer and she died. And I just thought that this was her symptoms, but I didn't know. So I thought, I just need to go to the doctor. So I went to the ER. And they gave me morphine for the pain. That's how crazy it was. I had a bad reaction to the morphine though, so we don't do morphine, which, come to find out, my mom had bad reactions to morphine too, but I didn't know that. And they did a scan of my stomach, you know, where they put the dye in you and then you go into the machine. I think that's an MRI. I can never remember what the machine is. Anyway, they did that. They said, you might feel like you're going to pee your pants. And I was like, am I going to pee my pants though? And they said, no, we've never had anybody actually pee their pants. It just feels like it with the way the dye goes into your body. It's like this warm sensation that feels like you're peeing your pants. So I went in there, I did the thing, it comes back. At the time, I had a kidney stone. I had a cyst on my ovary. I had an abnormal appendix. And I had gastroenteritis, which is an inflammation in the lining of your intestines. So there's different forms. There's like gastro, and there's this thing with the stomach. Then mine was in the intestines. So they gave me some medication, and one of the side effects of this medication was stomach cramping. So I stopped taking that because it was terrible. And it also, I think it wasn't good for people that had low B. And at the time I did have low B vitamins. So I was low in B, whatever. So it just wasn't a good fit. Got that all situated out with my doctor. And then I was trying to eat like a really basic food, you know, rice and just bland things. But every time I would eat, my stomach would blow up and become just so painful, especially when I was like eating rice or if I ate toast or anything nice and gentle. No. So weeks later, I just felt a lot of pain, like the pain wasn't really going away. So I don't know how I figured it out, but when I didn't eat gluten, rice, or corn, or almonds, I know that's a weird one, I wouldn't have the stomach pain. And I also started taking a really good probiotic at the time that just was phenomenal. I lost 5 pounds within just a few days just from the inflammation. I was pregnant at the time when I did this. And, you know, in pregnancy, you're not really losing weight. And I did. It was mind-boggling. Anyway, anytime I'd eat gluten, rice, or corn, I would have a really bad reaction. And then if I didn't, I felt awesome. And it even took away my morning sickness when I did that. But if I would eat it again, I'd get like morning sickness symptoms along with all of the other stuff. It was just something. But it took about 2 years for my intestines to heal, but I do have these moments of, ugh. So Monday, if you guys saw our video, we went out to eat and I had something that had rice in it. I hadn't had rice in a while, but I wasn't really avoiding it either. All that pain, like the intense cramping, got me, I mean, within minutes of eating it. And then this is 4 days later and I still feel weird, but not as terrible as that. So all that to tell you, we had talked about doing a celiac test when I was pregnant with Nola because I was having some symptoms, and she said, we just want you to not be pregnant. Well, then, I don't know, it kind of went away. I wasn't really thinking about it, and today we discussed it, and she said, I'd really like to get that, which I've also read that it can affect your iron levels. So I know there's a lot to say, and if you haven't kept up, go watch the other videos. It'll probably give you more information, but my ferritin levels are low, which is part of your iron panel. Everything else in my iron panel is fine, except for my ferritin. And she said, let's keep taking the supplements, which I do think are helping. Especially on days that I take it, I feel even more sustained energy and maybe like hormonally. And I think one of my things that I'm thinking back on now is I had mentioned to you guys before that back in 2019, that was a year after Zion was born, I went through like the darkest time of my life. And I wanted to be unalive, and I couldn't really function, eating just made all my anxiety worse. I was running a ton to try to like combat this, and I just wanted to sleep a lot and cried all the time. And under normal circumstances, I am not a crier. So it's just interesting. So then I didn't know this until last night. I was looking over all of my results in my like health app that you get from the doctor's office. And I had never realized that they had done an iron panel back then when I was in a bad way. They were just trying to figure out like what's going on. So my ferritin was very low then as well. And I think this is what has been so emotional for me, because when you feel crazy and you feel like anxiety to the nth degree, or you start feeling depression, or you have fatigue where you can't even do your normal basic daily life, and you know you have children and you have a job to do and you have things to do and everything just feels hard, and then you think back to 5 years ago now, having that same problem then and wondering, was it as simple as taking an iron pill that could have helped this? And I could have saved myself years of turmoil and struggle. Years. That is like really depressing and really disheartening to think, because I went through all different types of like anxiety medication, and I went, you know, thinking I was crazy and just feeling like a mess all the time. And you know, day-to-day life, I don't ever pretend like I'm not okay, if that makes sense, but I am very functioning. I can still function with all of this anxiety or whatever it is. So I think most people that would meet me wouldn't know unless I told them. But now it's getting to the point where I feel like I can't really hide it. I can't really pretend it's not there, you know? So taking the iron supplement, I think, is helping. She wants to see me again in 2 months. She goes, I don't want to wait a year. I want to see you back. And we're going to like look over all of those numbers again. But I'm going to get a celiac test, which I just got the blood test done for. Then I'm also, I also have this bag. Have you seen a bag like this? I have to do a stool sample. She said, I told her, you know, a lot of times I feel better when I don't eat, because when I do eat, I either get really sleepy or I feel very anxious. But it's not because of it's not like food anxiety. Oh, I ate something and now I'm gonna, you know, get fat or something. It's not like that. It's like I have this reaction to food that makes me not feel good. So then it makes you not want to eat, you know? And I did the whole intermittent fasting thing for a long time, and it did help me feel a lot better. But now I know I really want to focus on like the nutrients and the vitamins. And so I'm going back to eating, and I'm just like really trying to be as picky as I can about what I'm eating, minus the rice episode, because I didn't think I had that problem anymore. So anyway, I don't even know what's in here. Oh my word, you guys. I have to go poopy in that little thing. This is so weird. I'm glad it's in a bag. I wasn't sure how this was gonna go, but I have to take this, do the stool sample and then drop it off. And then she also has sent me in for an appointment with an endocrinologist to watch my thyroid, because she said, I'm not really familiar with the type of thyroid issue that you have, like monitoring wise. So my T3, my T4, and my TSH are all normal. But what's not normal for me is my thyroid peroxidase antibodies, or what used to be called like thyroid microsol, whatever. Those have been very elevated. But she said, I just don't have the, like, I don't have the information to know how to monitor that and what to do with that. So she's going to send me to an endocrinologist for that. As far as hormones go, also, within the last few days, I have stopped taking the Menavir, which I told you guys about. And I still think if you're going through hormonal stuff, it's probably really great. But when the iron supplements have started to kick in, I think it has helped all of my like night sweats and day hot flashes and all of that. I don't have any anymore. I still like the air just a little bit cooler, but there have been more days that I have felt cool. So I haven't been on Menavir now for, maybe since, I think the last pill I took was Sunday night, and now it's Thursday. Because it helped right away. It helped. I was like, oh my gosh, I feel so good. And then it's like, no, not good. And I think that was like my cycle was about to start, or I don't know, I ovulated, I don't know what happened. So all that to say, so then she asked me, lots of different questions. We talked about all sorts of things, but we really feel confident that the iron supplementation is good. We're going to see an endocrinologist about the thyroid. We're going to do a stool sample. We're going to check check the blood for celiac disease. And we're going to keep on with the vitamins. She likes the vitamins I'm taking. She likes the chocolate vitamins I'm taking. She, what else? She likes that I'm not doing caffeine. She thinks that's really good. I just got to tell you, this appointment has helped me a lot. I'm going to cry again. Oh my gosh, I never cry this much. This is so much crying. But I think this crying is more like of maybe a bit of relief. I did cry in the office, by the way. I really tried not to. Like, I was like, okay, Megan, you can do this. You can do this. I couldn't do it. Sometimes it's good to cry, though. You just got to let it out. Anyway, I think we're going to make this, guys. We're going to make it. So I'll give you an update when they call me and tell me my results about the celiac disease. She said something maybe in your gut just isn't quite right, and that is going to affect how your body absorbs iron, and that ferritin is so important for so many functions. So I've been reading so much about ferritin lately, you guys. Wow, it's an amazing thing. And for those of you that are really struggling, can I just encourage you to go to your doctor and get an iron panel? It's not always customary or like normal. If you're feeling fatigue, hair loss, if you are having issues with just anxiety or depression that doesn't seem to be helped with medication, or maybe it is helped with medication, but maybe this is also something that can affect that. Heart palpitations. Oh yeah, we're also possibly going to do, my mom had tachycardia type issues, like racing heart stuff. And I told her I've experienced that over the last year. I've had issues. And so she said, if we can catch it on a monitor, that would be really good to know. And so let's look into that. So I don't quite know where we're going to go with that. Maybe she sends that in for a monitor. I'm not really sure. That's fine. We'll figure that out. But I feel like she's on my team. I feel like she's on my side. Oh, that's going to make me cry too. I'm a mess, you guys. I'm such a mess. In a good way, though. These are good, like, happy. I think I've been so stressed about this that now it's just all gotta come out. Okay, I'll get back with you. It's gonna be okay. We're gonna be okay. We are gonna be okay. Okay? Okay. We're gonna be okay. We are, I promise. Yeah. Good morning, guys. It's the next day. It is 6:22 a.m. and I have to drop off my special stool sample. So weird, but necessary, I guess. I don't think I mentioned this. I couldn't remember why I was doing a stool sample, and she said, the doctor said it was for Crohn's disease, to check for Crohn's disease. So I'm still waiting for my results from the celiac thing, and hopefully that'll come in soon. I imagine it will. And yeah, let's drop this off, and then today I should be able to update you with some results. I'm thinking, sounds like a plan to me. I don't know how long the stool sample takes, but the blood test, I thought that they told me when I asked in the labs last time that it comes back like pretty quickly. So maybe today. All right, friends, I have been waiting many days to hear back for my results from my Crohn's test. So they thought that I would get that back Tuesday, and I haven't heard back the results yet. So even though I had that done last week, I got the celiac disease panel done, and it was a negative. The numbers there go from 0 up to 14.5, whatever those mean, and mine was just 0.5. So in range 0 to 14.5. So definitely not celiac disease, which is great to know. And then we're still waiting on the Crohn's. We're almost 30 days. I think tomorrow will be 30 days since I started taking iron and my vitamins like consistently. And I got to tell you guys, it's so mind-blowing and so shocking, the change that I feel. I feel like every week has these huge gains. So one of the gains that I had was my first normal period in the last like 2.5 years. Typically, I would not necessarily know when it was coming. I maybe like had an idea. I would spot for 4 days, bleed pretty good, like for serious, for 2 days, and then it would totally stop for a day, and then it would start all over again. And my hormones were just, my emotions were blah, 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 and my fatigue was crazy, crazy. So this was my very first cycle, full cycle that has been normal. And I did talk to my doctor about that, and she said, I think we are going to kind of like rule out perimenopause right now, just because all these other symptoms that you're having really are pointing to this iron and just needing to get that in order. I had no idea that low iron, and for me it's ferritin. So when you get a blood panel, you know, you'll see your hemoglobin, you'll see your TIBC, TIBC, total iron blood count, I think is what it is. You'll see all these things. Everything for me is normal except for my ferritin, and that's been low off and on for years, but didn't really start treating that until I got pregnant with Nola, and I was in my second trimester and never felt better. Like, didn't have that whole second trimester, woo, I'm feeling good. No, I was exhausted just as much, if not more, than my first trimester. So we got a blood test on that, and that was the first time that I'd ever seen the results of my iron test. And my ferritin was a 4, and to be in range, you have to be 20 to 100 or 20 to 200, but ideally you should be at 100. So I was at 4. I'm like, no wonder I can't function. And it took about 3 months to feel better. You know, you're pregnant too, so there's a lot of building up going on, and it only ever got up to 15 by the time that I had her, or after. I can't remember if we did. I'll have to look at that test. So anyway, we're gonna get that test done again, the blood test for my iron done again in about 2 months. And I just have to say, like, I had no idea how important iron was. And I feel kind of bad because we had this conversation, and my doctor had mentioned a couple years ago, maybe it was perimenopause, and the stories that you guys shared, and like us all commiserating together. Commiserating, I don't like that, but connecting over that and realizing, like, man, this stuff is tough. And some of you have really gone through the ringer and you're struggling with that. And I am so sorry. That is not fun, because I can only imagine what I've gone through, and then some of you many years more than that. But I really thought this is all like perimenopause. And then it's funny because I started taking the iron pills, and that was low. And then I started doing massive amounts of reading and trying to read studies that have been done, and watching some things from different board certified doctors about how iron affects you. And it just, dung. And then when I went back into my like records for my medical history and saw the different times that I was tested for iron and the low and how I was feeling at those times, and I went, like I showed earlier in this video, how it's kind of like disheartening to think this could have been fixed a long time ago, and I could have been in a much better place. But I'm thankful to have found the answer. I feel really great that through exercise, through just trying to be more aware of what I'm eating and making some good choices with that, but also that iron and being incredibly consistent with some really good vitamins that have done well for me in the past and are doing well for me now. I'm kind of shocked about the whole thing, and I feel like I just want to tell the whole world about it. So I'm telling you guys, which is a little piece of the world, but it's shocking. It's amazing. And I would have never known that low iron could be so life-altering in so many ways, in like the darkest ways, in the worst ways, and how supplementing has... I'm like tiptoeing, you know, fearful a little bit, just like, or not fearful, nervous. You're waiting. Could this possibly be placebo effect? But I'm thinking 30 days ago was not in a good way, in any way, shape, or form. And that had been just years of getting worse. And now I've had a cycle that's been normal. I haven't had one of those in 2.5 years. I've had energy like no other. I mean, to the point that it was a little bit ridiculous. I had so much energy. I was going on multiple walks a day. I was running. I had to expel it. I would say in the last couple days, I mean, I don't know. It feels a little less like, and a little more, But I'm running. I'm doing well with that. George has had so many walks. He's in love. He loves it so much. And I'm taking the kids for walks, and just, I finally feel like I can keep up with life. Things that I couldn't even function, because once the morning was over, it was like, I have nothing left to give. How can I take care of the laundry? How can I take care of the house? How can I take care of myself even? You know, you just feel like I've got nothing but sleeping. And now, I mean, guys, I'm keeping up on the laundry. The world is right. I've done cleaning stuff, and I definitely can tell that I'm still building up and still getting stronger. But it's good. My mental health is like a 180. Can you go more than 180? If you could go more than 180, that's what I am. My mental health is amazing. I still cry very easily. Things like, I don't know why that is. Especially in the mornings, I go and I run and I listen to my audiobook and I just cry. And then I talk about something with somebody, and I'm standing in the middle of Sam's Club the other day, talking to a friend about some different things that she's walked through, crying. I think about, cry. But it's like very healing, I think. It's like healing tears, and there's just so much there, so much. So it's been a healing time. It's been a very good time. You're still kind of like hesitant. Is it going to stay this way? I want it to. I really want it to. But you don't know. So it's like, ... What does the future hold? I don't know. So thank you for coming along for the journey, you guys. I hope that you are doing well. If I get the Crohn's results back, I'll share them with you. I held off on posting this video because I wanted to know, but we're going on almost a week and I still don't have the results. Maybe today, I don't know. So thank you so much for hanging out with me. I hope that you're doing well. Have an amazing day, and I will talk with you guys really soon. Toodaloo.